What happens when the mastermind behind Tesla, the man who built the company from the ground up, decides to step out of his CEO role and experience the factory floor firsthand? Elon Musk's undercover journey at Tesla might just redefine everything we know about corporate leadership and innovation. Elon's idea to go undercover came during a late-night brainstorming session. Rumors and complaints from the factory floor had started to surface. Gripes about broken equipment, pressure from management, and workers feeling overlooked. For a man like Musk, who thrives on pushing the boundaries of what's possible, this kind of feedback was a serious red flag. But he knew that simply sending out memos or holding meetings wouldn't give him the real picture. He had to experience it for himself. One morning, Musk stood in front of his mirror, swapping his signature high-end suit for the simple uniform of a factory worker. Steel-toed boots, safety goggles, and a lunchbox. With a quick look at his reflection, he didn't see a billionaire CEO. He saw a regular guy about to start a regular job. The plan was simple. He'd go by Dan, a mid-career technician who'd recently transferred from another Tesla facility. His goal? To observe and understand the unfiltered reality of life on the factory floor. No fanfare, no press release. Just one man stepping into the shoes of his employees. As he walked into Tesla's Gigafactory in Sparks, Nevada, the enormity of the task ahead became clear. Hundreds of workers moved in a synchronized frenzy as the sounds of machines, conveyor belts, and robotic arms filled the air. Elon blended in, unnoticed by the workforce, as he took his first steps into a world far from the boardroom. His first day on the floor wasn't glamorous. Musk was immediately thrust into the assembly line, working alongside a technician named Eric. The pace was relentless. Every bolt had to be tightened within seconds. The machinery never stopped, and the pressure never let up. It was physically demanding work that Musk wasn't used to. But that wasn't what shocked him the most. It was the people. The workers, who gave their all day after day, had stories, personal struggles, dreams, sacrifices. A mother working overtime to make ends meet, a young man saving up to finish his degree, a veteran pushing through old injuries to stay on the line. These were the unsung heroes of Tesla, the ones making Musk's dreams a reality. By the second day, the cracks in Tesla's operations started to become more apparent. Elon observed firsthand how equipment was failing. Machines malfunctioned, parts went missing, and the pressure to meet impossible quotas took a toll on the workers. He saw workers scrambling to fix robotic arms, only to face the consequences of broken systems that no one seemed to address. But it wasn't just the broken machinery that bothered him. It was the culture. Conversations amongst the workers were filled with humor, but underneath it was a sense of frustration. A recurring theme kept coming up. No one was listening. The workers were constantly putting out fires, solving problems with whatever they had on hand, but their voices were being drowned out by the push for constant production. One afternoon, during a quiet lunch break, a worker mentioned a malfunctioning lift and how it had been a safety hazard for weeks. If they don't fix that lift soon, he said, someone's going to get hurt. Elon was struck by the concern in their voices, but also by the lack of urgency from management to address it. The workers knew the issues, but they were never empowered to do something about them. Later that day, a serious malfunction halted production. A robotic arm, which had been malfunctioning for weeks, finally gave out. Production came to a screeching halt as alarms blared and supervisors scrambled to fix it. Workers fumed at the delays, but there was no solution in sight. The delay cost them nearly an hour of productivity. Musk, however, saw an opportunity. With his background in engineering, he was able to pitch in and help fix the robotic arm. The repair was quick, one that would have taken a longer downtime had it not been for his intervention. The workers were impressed, but the deeper issue was clear. The factory floor was full of quick fixes and band-aid solutions because of faulty equipment and the lack of proper support from upper management. By the third day, the cracks in the system became even more evident. There was more worker ingenuity than he had anticipated. Workers were constantly improvising to get their jobs done, making adjustments on the fly, even reprogramming robots to work around their limitations. These were solutions born out of necessity, but they rarely reached management. Why? Because the workers didn't feel like their ideas mattered, and management didn't make the time to listen. One day, in the break room, a group of workers was brainstorming ways to improve the assembly line. They spoke passionately about how they could shave off valuable minutes by adjusting the conveyor belt timing. But when they looked around, there was no one to listen. Elon saw an opportunity. With a quick, deep breath, he stood up and asked, "What if someone did listen? What if you had a direct line to the top?" The room went quiet. A skeptical worker named Luis gave a dry chuckle. "That's a nice thought, Dan. But that's not how it works here." Elon, now determined, knew that it was time to reveal his true identity. The next morning, during the factory meeting, Elon stepped up. "My name isn't Dan," he said, and the room went silent. "I'm Elon Musk. I've been working alongside you for the past week to see what life is really like on this floor. I've seen the challenges you face, broken equipment, unrealistic expectations, and I've also seen your brilliance. Your ability to solve problems when no one else is looking." At first, there was confusion, followed by disbelief. Then, a few gasped. One worker, Luis, stood still, his eyes widening in realization. "Wait, you're serious? You're actually him?" "Yes," Elon said. "And I've learned more in 1 week than I have in years. The issues you're facing, broken equipment, lack of support, they've been overlooked. But the good news, I'm here to fix that." Elon promised a direct line of communication between the workers and upper management. "Your ideas matter," he said. "We're going to fix the equipment issues and listen to what you have to say." The response was overwhelming. For the first time, the workers felt seen and heard. The changes began immediately. Safety issues were addressed, malfunctioning equipment was repaired, and a new open innovation forum was established to allow workers to submit ideas directly to management. In the days that followed, Elon made good on his promise. The factory was buzzing with energy. Luis's suggestion to adjust the conveyor timing was implemented. Tash's idea for redesigning a tool to reduce strain was put into motion. The workers were no longer just cogs in the machine. They were empowered innovators. This undercover mission wasn't just about one man. It was about realizing the untapped potential of the people who worked on the ground level. For Elon, the experience was transformative. He saw firsthand that leadership wasn't just about calling the shots from the top, it was about listening to those who made the company run. Elon returned to his CEO role, but he carried the lessons of the factory floor with him. He spoke openly about the experience in a company-wide meeting. Innovation doesn't come from the top, it comes from every level. And the job of a leader is not just to guide, but to listen, empower, and adapt. This story isn't just about Tesla or Elon Musk, it's about the power of listening, about recognizing the value of every individual, and about the strength that comes from working together. The changes that began in that factory would go on to define the future of Tesla and set a powerful example for other companies to follow. If you found this story inspiring, make sure to subscribe for more stories that showcase the human side of innovation. Thank you for watching.